What's going on, everybody? BrickBuilder here. Welcome back to another Minecraft Vanilla Views episode. If you guys do enjoy, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It's very much appreciated. Today we're going to be doing a lot of different things. But to begin, I just wanted to tell you guys that I have expanded the sheep farm quite a bit because over the course of like a pretty big portion of time, this is only going to get bigger and bigger because we're going to be needing more and more wool for future projects. So nighttime has just passed, so we finally, managed to kind of end that whole problem, which is definitely a positive. So that is quite useful that we've done that, at least. And now we're just, killing mobs, getting some armor out of them, actually. That's like some decent armor right here. The main reason we're actually getting this armor is because the reason what you can do with mob armor is if it's decent mob armor, you can pretty much just use it on armor stands, which, works for builds. Just gives you that extra variety and depth. Because at some point we probably will be building an armory. But at the moment, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be working on a project that I really have wanted to start for a while now, but I wanted to wait till Sandcastle and kind of the spawn area was done, and we got a little bit of that and all that sort of stuff just kind of, going before we tackle our next project. And our next project takes place at a very good area in the world, like probably one of my cooler areas of the world that I have never really built in before. So I think it's going to be quite cool to kind of do today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys where it is, and then I'm going to go get all my resources, and we should be good to go. But right over here, you can kind of see it approaching in the distance right now. You can see the savanna biome, and then you can also see the mesa, the mighty mesa, which is quite useful. Now the plan is, we have a pretty good plan that's going to work out nice. I am going to chop down a tree though, because we're going to need a chest. So I will chop down a tree, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. Make up a crafting table, and when we get closer we're going to do this. But as you can see, we already put a nice little thing here in the front of the mesa at our mining mesa section. We've built it like a sort of a gatehouse into it. So what we're going to be doing though is around this area I'd like to kind of build a small-ish acacia based village, and I think it's going to turn out really cool when it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and gather the resources, and then we're going to start the first house. This is our chest full of goodies right here for us to begin working. We don't have a lot of acacia wood, but the plan is we're not going to only be using acacia wood, we're going to be using all different woods. So that's definitely a thing, but this here is going to stay all acacia, but not every build is only going to be acacia, just because I'd rather make some more like, different sort of style stuff. I don't really want to just all use the same wood. I feel like that's very boring, very plain, and probably been done before. So I want to make my village slightly different by really incorporating lots of different block styles here. Make a very unique and different block palette. What I'm doing right now is I'm just digging out a little area here for our first little project. Because I do want to put a nice looking, really long looking house. I'm going for like a long style right here. And we're going to be using some red terracotta, or I'm still going to be calling it hardened clay, but red terracotta, whatever you want to call it, but I'm going to keep calling that thing hardened clay because that's what it's known to as me forever. It will always be that in my heart. But we're just going to dig out just a tad bit more space, not too much more. We should be good with what we have now, but I definitely think it's always better to have more space than it is to run out of space. So what we're going to be doing is we want the entrance to the house to be coming up right here, and we're going to go with a single door, double door entrance. Then what we're going to do is we're going to have this pop out 2, and that one's going to pop out 1, because this one here is just going to start going. We got to give a nice interesting shape to the build, so it's going to have a very weird kind of like very different shape to it. It's like something we're going for here. It's because the shape is what defines this whole build really. And it'll really like make it come together, because like this whole village is going to be houses that are all going to be very oddly shaped, and the odd shape is really what's going to give this village sort of its own character, which is kind of essential, because this whole village here really is going to be like a central project we're going to be working on for quite a bit of time, so I really want to make it work and make it look as good as we possibly can get it. And this is going to jet out like that. And there's going to be one of those. No, there isn't going to be one of those, because then this is just going to keep going right to there. And then that's just going to be a flat one. So, as you can see, the shape has really changed over here, but the rest of the build has a pretty basic looking shape, but that's what we kind of wanted. We don't want something that's too difficult to really like, you know, keep your eyes on. But we don't want something that's so simple that is just like boring to look at either. We kind of went for like the borderline in between, where it's not like a super crazy shape, because the shape of these builds will matter. That's really what's going to define this village and separate it from your everyday, you know, regular, hey, let's just, you know, build like a Minecraft little town thing, you know. And yes, I did forget to bring glass. That's probably not the smartest move, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go quickly grab my glass, because I do have a lot of glass. Like, I smelted up almost a full double chest of glass kind of early on in the series, just because I wanted to have glass that I would pretty much never need to make more of. So I'm actually going to head back, and then I will come right back at you. Yeah. Back at the village, we got to sleep, and then we got to get the glass, and then we got to head on back. So it's like a triple step thing. We don't want it to rain. We don't want mobs to spawn, so we got to quickly sleep in our blue bed, you know. Very awesome thing you can do in the 1.12 update. Then now what we're going to do is we're going to head on over here into our nice little storage shack. We're going to take a lot of glass with us. Glass is over here. I'm going to go ahead and take a lot of this, because I'm going to want a lot. And while we're at it, we're also going to take a ton of wool, because I do think we're going to be using quite a bit of wool. So I'm going to take a large quantity of our wool with us. And then if we need wool for over here, obviously we can just shear the sheep, because we're going to be breeding those things up a lot off camera and really getting the sheep collection even higher than it currently is. But let's get back to our house. Gonna want some leaves, so we're going to actually get a little bit of leaves from this one tree right here of oak. That should be all we're going to need for today's house. And that's quite useful, because I don't really want to keep a lot of the trees around this area. I'm going to kind of plant my own in areas where I want them. So that's actually a good thing that we kind of got rid of one tree there. We're slowly going to get rid of all the trees in this general vicinity until we really get, you know, only trees where we want them. So what we're now going to do is we're going to just line up on the edges of all this wood. We're going to line, just go all the way up. We just line, you know, the edges of it with red terracotta or hardened clay, whatever you want to call it. So that's definitely going to be a thing we want to do, because it just kind of, you know, makes it so that way the glass isn't really connected to any sort of, you know, wood directly. It's going to be connected to our secondary block. Although, to be honest, it's probably more the, you know, main block, but whatever. What we're going to do is we're going to now throw a ton of glass in. We're just going to go with plain, like, white glass. We could use a different color, but I don't really know if that's really what I want to do. I just don't think we need to use a different color, so I don't know why we would. You know, like, why would we use a different color glass? It just does. I mean, it could work, but I think that just using the regular glass is going to look better overall. So I think we're going to stick to that. There we go. And then we're going to do something there like that. Good. I think we kind of got the glass in the way we want it. Then we're going to make this build here not going to be relatively tall. It's going to be more of on the shorter side, because this one here is meant to just be one house in a grand scheme of things, you know? Like, our initial spawn village has like 5 or 6 houses. This village, not really sure how many houses it's going to get, but it's going to look good when it's all done, and that's really what counts here. I think I'm actually going to make this the entrance, though. I feel like that'd be a very more, like, interesting way of doing it, because you would never expect the entrance to really be right there. So I think if we go for it, it would look better and kind of, like, more unique. We are going to go with a dark oak door, but we need to first decide what we're making the ground. I think we're going to go for granite floors, which might be a weird choice. But I think that I want to use granite floors, because that means that I can mix the granite in with other stuff, which means that I shouldn't probably be breaking all of this. Because if it's getting mixed in, then, you know, there's no reason to break it all. But I think this could work, actually. If we mix in enough granite where granite is actually the primary block, then we could use this, and we could use this, and we can keep it for roads, and we can keep it for other, you know, like, essential things like that in the town. Just kind of make this be like the floor block for at least some of the houses, you know? We can do that, and then, of course, I do actually need to furnish the inside of this place as well as get a roof on it. So we're going to start with furnishing, just because I feel like that's a little bit easier to do. This one's going to be very dark oak prominent. We're going to use that right here, and we're just going to go ahead and we're going to throw right when you walk in over here, just a nice little thing like that. I think I'm going to throw another one in this corner. Yeah, that'll work. And then that should be good. That's not obviously all the furniture we're doing, but that's all we have in our inventory right now. I think we're going to go for or, what color carpet do we go for? Maybe red. I think red could work. Like, give it some contrast, you know? Like this red and that red, because they sort of go together, but they sort of don't, which is what works about them. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put a nice little carpet right in there. Maybe just like that. I don't know, this carpet maybe needs to be more free flow or something. This is gonna be an interesting carpet. I can already tell that. Boom. There we go. There we go. Yeah, actually, here we go. We gotta make it bigger. If we make it like that, then it might work. Yeah, okay, carpet works. I like it. Over here, we'll throw another... Actually, there's too many tables. That's gonna be a problem. If we throw that many tables, then it's not gonna work. So that's a thing. If we put too many tables, it just won't look the greatest. So we can't put every table. This won't work, obviously. And what we're gonna do is we are going to then quickly just go in here for things. I want to see, do we have a chest in here of any resources? We really don't. Alright, good. I didn't want to keep any resources there. I was going to move them into this chest, but whatever. Alright, sounds good. We'll finish furnishing up the inside another time, because we're going to need to bring a lot more stuff over here, like bookshelves and stuff. So I don't really want to, you know, rush that. What I am going to do is I'm going to do that right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and make up some slabs as well. Not as many slabs, though, as I'm making stairs, because now we got to work on the roof of the project, which does require I get up another block, because I need to build this up one more. So let me go ahead and quickly do that. There we go. Okay, no. I did not want to parkour into the void. That was not my initial move. Whatever. This here is kind of cramped. I think I'm going to just remove it. I don't really want to, you know, cramp the entrance, but I do want it to feel like a very, like, cozy home when we're all done with it. That's kind of what we're going for. It's got to have, like, a cozy vibe to it, because, I mean, after all, this is like a person's house in our Mesa village, which is what we're going to be calling this place. It's going to be a Mesa village, and I've really wanted to build a Mesa for a while, just because there's so much more with color you can do here. Like, at the regular spawn village that we made, like, you know, our starter village, we were pretty limited, because we decided that we were going to go with a very basic block palette of, like, you know, what resources you can afford early on. But now we're at a point where we can use more, you know, fancy and more expensive blocks, and we can get more, you know, like, size included, because, like, we have more resources, you know. We got food, we're not constantly fending for our life anymore, so it's going to be useful just because we'll have a lot more, like, access to stuff we couldn't have used previously. And what we got to do is whenever we get to one of these areas here, we got to do this. You got to throw a block, then you got to get them to connect. Alright, throw that there. Throw that there. Good. That's what we got to do. We're going to need more of these, though. We're going to need more blocks. Okay, we can't stand there. That's a little bit too low. That is, again, a little bit too low. There we go. What we got to do is that. And that. There we go. Beautiful. And of course, it's only going to look better as the more builds are added into the area. Because right now, this one build might look a little bit out of place since, you know, it's the only one in the general vicinity. But if you give it a little bit of time, you know, and we get a chance to really fully flourish out this whole area, it'll really come along nicely. I at least, you know, presume it will. So that's something that's going to look good. All right, now let's head up. Higher up here now. Let's see, is this exactly what we want it to look like? This here we're gonna swap. We're gonna put one there, sort of thing. We're just gonna go like that. Yes, and then, yep, that's exactly as we wanted it. Good. We're not gonna go for anything too strong on the roof here. I don't want to make like a super high arching roof, because then that just takes away from the size of the house. Like if we make the roof super big, it's not gonna make the house seem big. So because we want this house to seem semi-large but not huge, I guess. This is sort of like a moderate sized house in this area, and it's kind of essential that we keep that, like, you know, as a thing, which won't happen if the roof gets super big, because then it'll seem like the roof will be like, you know, a ton of blocks higher than the rest of it, and that'll be a problem. And we're going to go around like that. Yes, there we go. We got to go around the corner. We're going to throw all of this up there. This is actually working quite nicely. This roof is just really kind of going and flowing at this point, which is beautiful. That's going to get a nice little connection there. And we're going to throw a little outburst there, which I do like that little outburst there. But we're going to be adding a lot more decoration to the inside of this thing, specifically paintings and some, you know, furnaces, crafting tables, some stuff like that, as well as we're going to probably also include a lot of, what is this? As well as some, you know, nice looking things such as bookshelves, you know, crafting tables, furnaces, etc. All that good stuff will just go on the inside, and it's going to look fine and dandy when it's completed. And then for our tiny little bit of slabbage that's left, we're just going to throw some slabs up here. And that'll be all for the roof, but we are not done at the roof. There's still more we got to do before this house is really in its finalized state. So we got to get to that finalized state. Alright, mobs, you back away. You back away. Good. Stay away from me. And then what we're going to do is right over here. Not over there. That's not a good spot for it. Let's see. Right over here is a pretty good spot. We're going to go ahead and we're going to make a ton of trap doors. Not a ton of them, but a little bit. Not too many, but not enough either. I think we're going to make a good quantity of them. Let's go ahead. We're going to make like, yeah, 12. That's good enough. That should be more than enough for what we need here. Because what we're going to do is we're going to throw just a very basic design here, but you know, it works. It adds just that tiny bit more character to the build. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to bust out a lot of this sand here, and we're going to try to get this sand here to become hardened clay. Now, of course, over time I will actually like remove all of the sand area, but for now the goal isn't really to remove all the sand, it's just to make the hardened clay extend out further. So that's a thing, but we should be able to do that quite nicely with the little bit we have now. We just do something like this. Gotta kill all these mobs, which now have armor. Like, our local difficulty is increasing at a pretty rapid rate, so that's actually good, because I do really like to get armor out of these guys. Like, let's just get the armor already out of them. And bum. Bum, but we gotta make a transition, so we're gonna go ahead and, like, do like that. Like that, we're gonna throw one there, we're gonna throw one there. There we go. I don't know, we'll be slowly working on that and really making it better, because it definitely is not exactly where I want it just yet. We're going to throw another one of those there, which means we're going to need more trap doors. So let's go ahead. We're going to make a bit more of these. There we go. Make another 12. Sounds good. Alrighty. Because I think that just having these on the outside, specifically of like the houses, will work, you know? I don't know how many like utility buildings we're going to have here, since like that's not really a huge focus of this area. And then I'm not going to throw them in the front just because it'd be kind of weird, kind of strange. Okay, this here it is. Looks weird too. We're going to swap that into a 1 wide. There we go. Looks pretty nice, but definitely not completed just yet. We have a bit more work to do on the inside. Not all that much, but still some. And we're going to need the torches. So let's go ahead. We're going to grab the torches that we got, and we have our slabs. Very good. So let's hop on the inside here. And first what we're going to do is we're going to slab the roof right here. Right at this level here. We're slabbing off the roof. We're going to end it right there. Because if we keep the roof going for much like higher, it's going to look kind of weird, kind of strange. So I think just slabbing it off right there is a smart move to make. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that. And it'll look pretty nice. Because at least we won't see like a hollow roof. We want the roof to feel full. Even though in reality the whole thing can be like left empty basically. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find areas for torches that look good. Like we can throw them there. Throw them there. Probably get away with a torch. I don't know if we can get away with a torch there. But what we can do is we can also hide lighting underneath the carpets. That's definitely a thing we can do. That's actually a pretty useful lighting tip. If you hide them underneath the torches, underneath the carpets, it just kind of works. So we can go ahead and do that. Plus that'll save us a bit of red wool if we decide to use, you know, other areas for that as well. I think that's going to about do it, guys, for today's episode where we begin the Mesa village. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It's very much appreciated. Make sure to check out the next episode of Minecraft Vanilla View, so tap that bell so you get notified of when it happens. And if you did enjoy, make sure to also check out my Discord and my Twitter, and come out to my live streams. But I'll see you guys in another episode. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!